WHPR TV is now on demand. Catch us when you want, how you want, where you want. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Watch your favorite TV shows on demand. And be sure to download the WHPR app. We're now on demand at your demand. WHPR TV Detroit On Demand.com, a Watkins Broadcasting Company.
Bless you with love and peace, and welcome to
Making it happen, taking action.
broadcast with your mentor and
Thank you. We thank you for life, God. We thank you for every breath that we take. God, we just thank you for being that for us. God, teach us, God, to love. Teach us to forgive. Oh, God, teach us to help one another. We are your chosen ones. You chose us, and we answered your calling, God. So help us to do your will and your work, God. That's what's wrong with us in America. We don't know how to love, especially the minorities, the black folks that used to lead the world, lead this country in loving and teaching in Christianity. What happened to us, oh God? We ran away from you and your word. Help us to come back, God, to you. Because you the God of God and the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And we love you, and we know you love us. So, God, have your way with us and bless these United States of America. Bless oh God, the soldiers, the men and women who are fighting in foreign wars and foreign places. Oh God, help the law enforcement officers, men and women that serve and protect these United States and the country and the government and the rest of us, God. Make them strong. Give them strength, God, and let them be peacemakers. That's what they are, peace officers, oh God. Maintaining peace and neutralizing violence and killing and all that other bad stuff that you don't want us to do, oh God. Help us, God. Bless us. Keep us. We ask these and other blessings. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Thank God.
amen, amen.
Yes.
How are you today, Reverend
I'm
Bush?
good, Mr. Rod. I'm just trying to feel the Holy Spirit. Let him help me to do what God wants me to do.
That's wonderful, and that's what the broadcast is all about. Trying to help people, give information, positive
Teach and love.
things, help them on their way. And if in fact you'd like to call this morning, feel free to call. Tell us what your thoughts are on any of the subjects, any of the topics, because we'd like to know what the community is feeling out there.
You know what, Mr. Rod? Talking about love and talking about helping. First, we need to help ourselves. Like I was sharing with my brother, it always and it should start in the home. Then it go to the school. Everybody don't go to church, but you can have church in your home too. The church is where you are. You are the church. We are the church. It's not that building, y'all. The saved folks of the church. So the church moves from place to place, and so we gotta ask God to help us to be strong in love, 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 love. That's what we ought to be about. And when we start in the home, we'll see changes all over the place.
Well, Reverend Bush, my heart has been heavy these past few weeks because of our crisis in education. I say right here in Detroit, but
Education, education,
it's
education.
not
That's
really
what it
just
is about.
limited, to Detroit.
No, it isn't.
Talking to friends and family across the country,
Everywhere, all over the United States.
urban America is in a crisis when it comes to education, and not only urban but suburban America
Yeah,
also.
that's a struggle.
And we need to look at that, and we're going to look at that. Sometimes young people will say, "Well, especially today, I don't have money for college. My family doesn't have that. They couldn't put away money. I didn't find a job, and
Have mercy.
so they kind of cop out." But
And give up. And
and give
give
up.
up.
When you actually can help yourself,
Starts with you.
I found some tips for finding
Yes,
scholarships
Jesus.
and grants. First of all, you got to fill out what they call is that FAFSA,
Yes.
Federal Student Aid Form, which gives
Yes,
gives
yes.
them, give federal government that information they need on you and your
Yes.
family background. Many times, young people out there, people seeking help to go to college, you can end up going free.
Yes, you can.
This is why we do specify, reinforce to you, even in the lower grades, middle school counts, elementary counts, high school counts. Do not take that
Yes,
lightly
Jesus.
because all of these grades, add up cumulatively, and what you do in school, they look at that, and who knows, you might, like I said, end up getting a free ride. Um,
You know what? It ain't free because you earned it with your grade and preparation, Mr. Rod.
exactly. And your
So you
attitude,
deserve what you get.
and your attitude, aptitude.
Education, by being intelligent and smart, you deserve what somebody give you. Be it a raise, be it a job, whatever. You deserve it because you earned it.
Yes, I was talking to my sister last night, and she was telling me that my niece, who is graduating, I think tonight actually, from her
Okay.
high school in New York, and she just received a full ride
Fantastic. Fantastic.
at a very, very prestigious university in Massachusetts.
And it can happen. I had
It
my two kids, and the other one got half a full
can
ride, but
happen.
I had two kids
It
all
can
4 years got
happen.
free, and I think you might have had some kids that got full rides also. It is out
Exactly,
there.
exactly.
Money is out there.
And you do have to put forth some effort. If you started late, if you didn't think about it, uh, you can wait and go. In the winter months, and get yourself prepared. Maybe work, save some money, but also your attitude plays a big part
Yes,
in
it
where you end
does.
up going to school.
Attitude determines altitude, how high you go in life.
Exactly. So, we don't want you young people to be left out of anything. And also, we know that here in Detroit, uh, young people could have at least 2 years of community college that you can go to.
And it's very reasonable,
Well, I
community college.
understand, it's free.
Some people
So
call it cheap, but if it's free, it's even better. And that should be guaranteed.
take
I don't know
advantage.
why not. Uh, we in America don't give our graduates free education. I've gone to many countries overseas. All the oil companies give theirs 4 years of college free, and even Singapore, that's not rich in oil, all their kids get 4 years education free.
And I do know that college texts sometimes can be very, very expensive. I know they were when I was in college, when I was at Wayne State University, and I do know they were more expensive when my children went to college. They can be hundreds of dollars, but what you can do is buy used books.
You know
In
what?
fact, there are used bookstores that you can go, or get in touch with a student who's taking that class now and make arrangements to get that book maybe at a lower cost.
You know what, Mr. Rod? And it's said in America that the rich are riding on the backs of the poor and the working people. Yes, some poor, they go get things for free. Like they feel so bad that they think that they can't work, they can't contribute. But that's a lie. Don't believe the lies. And sometimes the press and the people around you that don't want you to rise up and be the best that you can be, they tell you, you can't do nothing. You ain't nothing. You're nobody. And that's psychology. They're using psychology and have mercy, playing games on you to mess up your mind and think that you're not good enough. But you are. We are. We are God's chosen. We are the best.
Well, the first step, of course, is to complete that federal student aid application, FAFSA. And then also, I found some of the best scholarships found online. It's called fundingsources.com, the largest database of scholarships in the United States. So go on there and
All
look
right.
for a scholarship that applies to you and your interests, and we're sure that you will make the grade.
Yeah, you could also teach yourself, y'all.
Well,
Yeah. Hey,
that that
DeBose
is
back in the day taught himself to read.
right,
Charles
right.
DeBose. So don't tell me what you can't do.
But
You got to be determined, Mr. Rod. You got to
with
have faith. You got to have God
with
holding your back and being your back. You got all our back.
with
We got to believe
the
it.
computer age that we are in now, uh, and with determination, you can make it. You can ask for information. You know, like I said, finding sources like the fundingsources.com, will help you. Don't give up. That's the main thing.
And there's online education all over the place, y'all.
And we know
You
many,
can
many
teach
people
yourself.
that are going back to school. Maybe they have their first degree and they're in a master's program. In fact, I know several people going to take their master's online right now, for
You know
their
what,
job or just for themselves.
Mr. Rod? Library. That's a wealth of information. It's all free. All you got to do is show up, open your mind up, and it'll fill you with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Guess what? That's what God does with your faith. So all we got to do is give ourselves to God.
The opportunity. I do want to mention that this month of June, and we are in the month of June, is National Home Ownership Month,
All right, then.
and I think
Everybody out of home own a home.
that's wonderful. That's what the American dream is all about. When you finish college, most people, what do they want first? Maybe a car.
That's your mansion, though.
Maybe a
It
car.
might be a small mansion, Mr. Rod, but that house supposed to be
Exactly.
your mansion.
Exactly. And so, but if in fact you want to purchase a home, I picked up this little booklet, Buyer Beware, Avoid Scams, Understand Buying, an as is house, reduce your property taxes. Just beware, because sometimes people will want to sell your house, Reverend Bush, that they don't even own.
You know what, Mr. Rod, back in the day, I was a little kid, and my daddy told me, and my mama did too. She reinforced it. She said, your home, your house is your castle. Keep it nice, keep it clean, keep it maintained, because you the king of that castle. And the lady in there, she the queen.
Okay. And if in
And the
fact,
young folks know it, Mr. Rod. They princes and princesses. Have mercy, Jesus. God is good.
if in fact, you want to purchase a home, you might want to pick up this little booklet and look at it thoroughly, especially if it's one of those hub
All right.
houses or one of those homes that is a fixer upper. Make sure you, if you don't know anything about structural
But you can learn, Mr. Rod.
or structural damages.
God created a masterpiece when He created
Take
man.
someone with you that does know. Make sure the roof is good, the structural damage, water pipes, lead based paint, hazards, heating system, electrical wiring, and also pests.
You know what?
Sometimes you get a house that's full of
Hey,
little things that you don't want to be bothered with.
that's right. God created man in His own image, Mr. Rod. We got God power. Some of us don't know that, though. We got God power.
In other words, do your research before purchasing a home. Make sure everything is covered in the purchase agreement.
All right.
You don't want to be surprised. You thought maybe you had an air conditioner, and when you got there, there was
It might
nothing.
not be there when you move in. So what happened to my air conditioner I thought I had? Somebody took it, and guess what? You didn't catch it in the timely manner. So you pay for something that you didn't get.
The seller should provide title commitment as part of your purchase. Ask the water department for the water bill. Check, and this is really important
Okay.
today, check the property tax status
That's right.
of that house.
That's right.
Uh, and we hear the tax board every day on TV now talk about property taxes and people going into foreclosure, and you really don't have to, go into foreclosure. There is help out there for you.
You know what, Mr. Rod, also, though? You should pay an attorney to check all the legal documents in addition to do a title search to
Okay.
make sure that title is clear. But even if it ain't clear, you always need to purchase title insurance.
Taxes are due twice a year, summer and winter, and we people that own homes know about that, and you have to get them up to date, paid, and if you're not up to date, like I said, go down to 400 Monroe and get in that line,
And wait some more. Have mercy.
it's worth it. Trust me,
Yes, it
it's worth
is.
it
It
because
teaches you patience
I've uh,
also.
I've seen a lot of y'all down there.
Yeah.
'Cause
You've been down there
I've
too. Have mercy.
I've
I
been
have
I
also.
okay. Maybe I saw you down there
You
working.
might have. I probably had didn't want to know didn't want you to know that I was there too.
No, no, everybody's down
Yeah,
there.
we all down
Don't
there.
don't be so proud to not like take care of your business if you own
Yeah,
property,
you gotta do your
because there's
homework.
a lot of people out here businesses for whatever reason
Yes.
that want this property in Detroit. They are going along street to street putting up signs, I would imagine, trying to scare people into selling them their property at a very, very low rate. Don't be frightened by this. Uh, People who own property, hold on to what you have. It's very valuable. It's your asset that you can pass on down to your children and children's children.
It has value.
It really does. And consider getting a professional home inspection. You got to do that. Determine how much your repairs will actually cost. And one of the main things, like I keep saying, is make sure your taxes are up to date. Be sure to record all land contracts. That's another way you can own a home if you don't have a lot of funds.
That's risky though, but it's better than not owning a home.
Right. Well, with a lawyer, an attorney, you will draw up the right papers. Be sure to record all land contracts through the Wayne County Register of Deeds. And you can visit a HUD certified counselor before buying a house. All of these are just tips
Yes, it is.
for that great. Um,
That's mostly the most major purchase the average person makes in their lifetime.
exactly.
A
So
home purchase.
and you don't want to lose it for no reason. A couple of announcements. It says save the date. Hartford Women United presents a fun, fabulous, and fashionable luncheon and fashion show. When? That's Saturday, June 18th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's at Hartford. I'm part of that organization. Miss Eunice E. Moore, fashion show coordinator. Deacon Karen D. Harlan, president. For more information, you can call the church 313-861-1300. Dr. Charles G. Adams, pastor, Reverend Charles C. Adams presiding. And it's always a fun activity to go out and either be in the fashion show if you like, or at least attend. It is a fundraiser for our Women's Day.
It's a good thing.
Okay. What's going on at Little Rock, Reverend?
Hey, we're
Well,
just trying to save some souls, Mr.
that's
Rod.
wonderful. That's wonderful. And we know you're doing a good job at that. School is almost out, but BHRSC Inc. 501c3, we're having a summer tutoring program at the library, the Hubbard Library, 12929 West McNichols Road. And we also will have that food program um, that you see the sign around the cities. Okay, we're going to have that over at Hubbard Library also. So you want to get involved, keep your young people involved, keep your children involved in a safe atmosphere this summer. And we do know that the library is safe.
Little Rock does give out food every second Friday of every month.
Okay,
You know,
that's wonderful.
so
If you
free
need that,
food, but hopefully you qualify. I'm quite sure there's a lot of folks that really don't need it, but they're in line to get free food. But it's especially allocated for those in need.
okay. And everyone is looking, forward to a restful summer. Like I said, make sure your children are doing something positive. Sign them up to be somewhere, especially if you're at work. You don't want to leave your children just out there. It's too many young children, getting kills, needlessly, by guns. People are just shooting our children, and that's horrible, Reverend Bush.
Well, the devil does what the devil does, Mr. Rod, and that's when God got to take control and be the God of gods and King of kings and the Lord of lords. The prince has a lot of control. He's the prince of this world. That devil, that Satan man,
You might want to
woman.
look at Detroit Parks and Recreation Department summer camps, and they have many of them in every area. You can register. There's a small cost. I believe it's small uh, when it comes to saving your children.
Okay.
You don't want them on the street. Adams Butler Complex, Clemente Recreation Center, Crowell Recreation Center, Hellman Recreation Center, Lasky Recreation Center, Patton Recreation Center, Williams Recreation Center, and the Young Recreation
Wow.
Center. So you can call 313-224-1100.
Back in the day, that was not expensive like it is. It used to be free, Mr. Rod, but that looked quite expensive. 400 some dollars a month on the average. Have mercy. For a
Well,
summer camp?
well,
Oh, well.
when you think of the health and
It
safety
does cost.
of your children, and they're being taken care of by certified individuals,
Yes.
and they're having fun,
Somebody got to pay something.
or they're being taught some skills today. uh, I don't see anything wrong with paying
Yes.
$400 for 8 weeks.
At least 400.
Exactly. There's also another program called Summer Smart Start, and they offer programs. One of them is Grow Detroit's Young Talent, summer jobs for students 16 and up, Detroit Area Pre-College Engineering Program, DAPSEP, which we're very, very familiar with, and the Cranbrook Educational Community Summer Camp.
Oh, Cranbrook
All
has
of
a
those.
camp. How about
Oh,
that?
yes, yes, yes. For
What's
sure.
that cost at a camp, Cranbrook camp, Mr.
They
Wright?
have
Have
to
any idea?
call.
Got a
They got to
call?
call.
Got a number to call, Mr. Wright?
Cranbrook Educational Community.
No phone
They
number
got
relevant right now.
check
Go
that out.
online. Go online.
Check that out. Go online, and so many good things. And of course, like I said, DAPSEP, Detroit Area Pre-College Engineering Program, works with all of our universities with programs for the summer. Wayne State, Marygrove, University of Detroit. So there are positive things for your young people this summer. Don't be left out. Call 1-800-978-9596 for programs over at University of Detroit Mercy for your young people. Another activity, and we talk about this just about every week, is our Wright Museum.
Always something happening there.
Take your young person down there, or maybe young people on your street,
So true.
in your community. Get together every second Sunday of the month.
It's
It's
free.
it's
Doesn't cost you a thing. All you have to do is go there and
exactly.
show up, and you could get in for free.
And as always, because being a retired teacher and still teaching,
Okay.
never stop
Got to
teaching.
keep moving, Mr. Raw. You won't be able to move if you
Exactly,
stop moving.
exactly, Rembus.
Be
You know,
too old to move. Have mercy.
we love what we do. We love giving back. No matter the age, no matter if you're healthy enough, you do want to keep involved,
If you're breathing, you need to keep moving. Don't stop moving, y'all.
and you know uh, keep involved. Keep your grandchildren, your young people involved. Our mayor is in charge of deciding what's going to happen with our Detroit public
Have mercy.
schools and charter schools,
Have
and
mercy.
he's met this week at
Everybody want control of our schools. I wonder why.
Northwest Activity Center
Have mercy.
with the charter schools administrators. 20 of them showed up, and one of our Detroit public school administrators showed up, trying to decide, what's going to happen in the fall, with the school. Mostly,
Yes.
what about the quality of education?
Have mercy.
For all of our young people.
Everybody, every child
I
needs
I
education.
think this is
Even the black child need education. Governor Snyder.
right, and Mayor Dugan. And they even came out with, we must have a system of quality and accountability that eliminates the political and structural barriers which have prevented children from excelling at high levels of academic
You, you, kn-
excellence.
you know what, Mr. Rod? When we don't educate the masses, the po folks, everybody loses. That child loses, the society loses, we lose. So educate the least of us, Governor Snyder, and the legislature here in Michigan.
Well, another thing, Reverend Bush, and I think we talked recently about the situation and the crisis going on in Detroit Public School. Do you really think we, as a people of African Americans, are we doing enough to educate
No, we ain't, Mr.
our
Rod.
own
It
selves?
starts in the home. And
I mean,
parents, brothers, sisters, mamas, daddies, even
is
though you
it
don't live in the home, you got a role to play. That's your child. That's your boy. That's your girl.
is it everybody
Help that child.
else's problem? Is it really?
It's our problem, y'all.
We do
We
know
never blame our problems on other folks. We
we
try to, but we still got to solve them.
we do know that our schools do look for that funding, that comes from Lansing, which our schools can't function without that. Um, but yet and still, we as parents, grandparents, people in the community, are we doing all that we can do to help ourselves as far as education is concerned?
No, Mr.
And
Rod. No,
what
no.
about the churches?
It
I
starts in the
think
home. It starts in the church. It starts in the schools.
I
Learning starts
I
everywhere.
just feel that many times we're dropping the ball when it comes to education,
We making excuses, Mr.
educating
Rod. That's what we're doing. Making
our
excuses.
own,
Blaming on everybody but ourselves.
educating our own. And these young African American people, Hispanic, Mexican, minorities, whatever you call yourself, if you are
Have
have
mercy.
color in your skin, they belong to us, you know.
Yes, Jesus.
And so we got to care for them. We do know that education is the key, and if you're not educated, all types of horrible things can happen to you during your lifetime. They keep building jails on top of jails.
Hey, they'll lock you up, y'all. They'll take your freedom away. Your child, your cousin, and your nephew, yeah,
Your
they'll take
grandchild, your
even
son.
you. They'll take your freedom away. You better
Exactly. So
learn how to
you better think
be
about that.
obedient.
We have a caller in Butch.
Yes. Thanks for calling. You're on the air. Tell us something. What you thinking?
Good morning. How you guys
We
doing?
good.
Good
We're blessed to
morning.
be
How you
alive.
doing?
Good morning.
I was just thinking, we used to have a thing called Parks and Rec in summer programs where the kids
Okay.
did arts and crafts and things, and it was
Yes.
free. It
It sure
cost nothing
was.
but your time. But
True.
now they done
Amen.
turned them into things called camps, and they
Right.
charge your arm and a leg, so these
So
people that
true.
work there can make a living off of it,
Have
teaching what they used
mercy.
to do for free.
I
Ain't that
remember
it's
Arts
that.
so
and
true,
crafts.
sir? So true. I don't know what happened. We changed, I guess.
I don't like this camp where they charge all this money. I don't like that.
We need to help somebody for
Well,
free. You
that's
got to
just
give back.
another barrier to
Because
keep
it
keep
knocks out
To
so
keep
many
people
African
children
down.
because
keep
they
African
can't
Have
pay for
residents.
mercy.
that.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please have a
You
Thank
too.
you. But we have to overcome these barriers.
We do.
That's why we have to get together. I say in our churches, in our schools, our
Yes.
community centers, and do it ourselves.
Giving up is not an option.
Do it ourselves. I mean, there are teachers out there.
Yeah. All these
I
retired
even
people,
know.
what are you doing out there
I even know.
at
I mean,
home?
so
Sitting
you
down
might
doing
not,
nothing.
get paid for it, but
Gotta pay you.
but
Have mercy.
being
Sow some
able
seeds.
to help a child or teach a child, that's your pay. I never really looked for
Money,
all
all
that.
it, everything you do. You don't get paid money for everything you do. You shouldn't expect money for everything you do. Have
The
mercy.
civil rights era,
Have
they
mercy.
they just laid the foundation, for us to succeed. But it looks like many times we are not taking the dream uh, as far as we can take it.
You know what, Mr. Wright? You, and the rest of you out there in the viewing audience, I had many people, preachers, teachers, have mercy, neighbors, friends, relatives, help me. They didn't get paid. They did so many things for free for me. Only way I pay back is I help somebody else.
Exactly.
Miss Rod, I got stranded many times on the highway. People weren't always looking like me to help me. Many of them was light skinned, y'all. Some people call them white. They helped me, and guess what they told me? When you see somebody else, help them. I said, what can I do, sir? And he said, all you need to do is pay me for what I spent or you need to spend. He didn't even ask me to pay for gas, but I had to rent a vehicle or rent something one time, and he said, you pay that? That's all I'll ask for you. He was a minister, man of God. I thank him for it, and I give back. I give back.
Well, Reverend Bush, every time, every day actually, when we pick up the newspapers or talk to people uh, who call us, whatever, education is on their mind.
Yes.
And this week, even in Mackinac, um, education is on our leaders' mind
It should be, Mr. Rod. It
statewide.
should be.
It's not only a Detroit problem, it's a Michigan
It's
problem.
a United States of America problem also. All urban American cities have an education problem. And even the rural areas of the United States of America. And we don't always live out there in the country, y'all. They other folks that don't look like us live out there.
One of the main topics in Mackinac this week is business leaders look to make Michigan a top 10 education state. I was glad to hear that. That this is our objective, this is our goal, and they are talking about school reforms, um, how they are going to bring up our very, very low statistics. Did you
Have
know,
mercy.
Reverend Bush, that Michigan uh, fourth graders rank
Have mercy.
41 across the nation in reading?
What did we do to get so low? I guess we should ask ourselves what we didn't do, not what we did do. Have mercy, because evidently we didn't do much.
And these statistics come from the latest National Assessment of Educational Progress in Standardizing Testing for Michigan. In math, uh, eighth graders getting ready to go to high school, they came in 38th.
Don't know much math. You down at the bottom, y'all.
And I even hate to think about this statistic. African American students scored the lowest
Have
in the
mercy.
United States
Black folks, we
in
ain't never been
several
at the bottom of
grades
anything.
and subjects. And I guess this is why I keep saying, you know, our communities, uh, our churches,
We are failing our youth, our kids. That's what we're doing.
there's
We
a
we
problem.
fail when they fail.
There's a problem. And we cannot wait for somebody else to educate our
It's
kids.
our problem. We need to own up to it. We must solve our problem. Stop passing the buck and telling somebody else to solve your problem, our problem.
And this article, which actually came from Detroit News, says this is not really just a urban problem or a minority problem. Michigan is at or near the bottom in every grade level and demographic group, including white and affluent
You
students.
know what, Mr. Rod? If you look at the budget that our legislation governor uh, approve every year, they spend little to no money on education.
And this is the
Since
problem.
Governor Snyder took over, guess what? He been cutting, cutting, cutting. And guess what he cuts? Education, cut education, cut education, cut education.
And they say a report from the Education Trust shows Michigan students' performance has fallen steadily over the past decade. And we talk about this also because 10 years ago, when our children, were going through DPS, we didn't have this problem.
You know what,
We had
Mr. Rod?
qualified, certified
But we
teachers.
paid for PhDs. They were teaching in our schools with doctorate of education, doctors of philosophy. They had doctorate degrees teaching in our schools.
And I just cringe now to think about our children being taught by uncertified people who were not educated in the fields that those poor children are being taught. It looks like we're just dummying our kids down.
You got to pay to get the best, Mr. Rod. I guess somebody want to cheap it out. You get if you have mercy, Jesus. If you buy something cheap, you get something cheap, y'all. Don't expect it to last if you paid little to no money for it.
In another report, it came from the GAO. It was in the Chronicle. It says the Government Accountability Office report segregation increasing at some U.S. schools.
I wonder why.
And some of the congressmen are, African American congressmen and of color are very, very disturbed about this. And they found that segregation of African Americans and Hispanic students nationwide is getting worse instead
What?
of better.
But Mr. Rod, why are people hating one another? That's what it boils down to. I don't understand that.
I think
That's
it's
the
all
devil.
about money.
You think so?
It's all about
But if
money.
I don't have no money, how you gonna hate me?
It's all
I
about
have nothing
money.
for no reason for you to hate me.
What I'm saying is, I think there's a group of people out there who feel if minorities are
Oh,
uneducated, they cannot. Well, it makes sense.
that's
Okay,
the Trump type of people, huh?
uh,
Have mercy,
they
Jesus.
are not going to be able to compete for jobs. How
Yes,
can you pass the test? How can you,
yes,
uh,
Jesus.
be on top of your grade level if, in fact, you're not taught and you do not
Well,
meet the standards of some other people who can pass the
so
test?
what I hear you saying, Mr. Roy, is somebody is dumbing our children down so they
Especially,
can't compete against their kids. Have
especially
mercy.
African Americans, Hispanic, and some other
That's
minorities.
sad. But
And
I
the
guess that's
study
the way. That's the way it is.
also found that charter schools may often take students from public schools and enroll them in less diverse schools.
They don't offer as much education.
Mhm.
They, you
Mhm.
you get what you pay for. They take a cut off the top, which they call their profit, and what's left they spend on the kids' education.
And the study also found that Hispanic students were triply segregated by economics, race,
Wow,
and language barriers.
have
And some
mercy.
other races have that problem too. The report was released on the 62nd anniversary of the landmark decision in 1954 U.S. Supreme Court case Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, which declared that segregated schools were unconstitutional, and they still are.
This is Make It Happen, taking action. Call you on there. Tell us what you're thinking.
Yes, good afternoon to both of you.
Good afternoon.
You know, I always go back to my father, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Alrighty.
And Honorable Elijah Muhammad, understand the early 1930s or whatever, one of the first things that he done to understand was took his children out of the public school system.
Okay.
Because he wasn't looking for someone else to educate our children or whatever. And that was one of the first things he did. He set up one of the first school system outside of the public school system at that time. And he even was willing to go to prison for that. And those teachers also.
Yes.
And so we can't expect others to educate our children.
No, we should
we
not,
got
sir.
to wake up to realize
I
something.
agree.
That God has put a
Have
head on
mercy,
each
Jesus.
and every one of our shoulders.
Yes.
And that we should look to God and not some other man
Amen.
to educate. Because a man won't treat you right. He's not going to teach you right.
That's
You got to
So
look at
true.
how he's benefit by dumbing us down or
Yes,
whatever.
Jesus.
You know, so to make us equal, we can forget about somebody else making us equal with them because this is a system that's in place that understand only God himself can bring down or whatever because it's
Amen.
set up in a way that you have the haves and the have-not. And that's
So
going to
true.
be that way until God intervenes, understand,
Yes,
and shuts it
yes.
down. As you can see what's going on down in Texas right now, understand. If you look and see what's going on across this country, you
It's
got to
punishment
see
happening
God
down
at work.
there.
God is
God's
bringing this country
punishment.
down.
Amen.
And Hillary nor Trump is going to solve me and your problem.
No, he won't.
Whatever.
Exactly.
I hear you,
And that's
brother.
the bottom line. Until we come together, understand it, and stop being so divided and whatnot
selfish.
with ourselves and learn
Amen.
to love our brothers as we should love ourselves. We can't
Amen.
claim God and sit next to one another and not love each other.
That's right.
That's hypocritical, whatever.
And
And that's
yes,
the
it
bottom
is.
line. All we're looking at is a lack of love when we have to deal with these problems that we are dealing
right.
with. That's a lack of love for
Yes,
self.
it is. Yes, it is.
And that's the bottom line. And I appreciate the airtime, and you all keep doing the good work you all
Thank
are
you,
doing.
sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. You keep on keeping on too, my brother.
Our
Thank you.
own Congressman Congressman John Kahn is my former boss, and Scott. We're part of this report, and they say they will author a bill that would require schools to designate at least one employee to work on complying with diversity requirements. So that's a good thing.
You know what?
If each school is mandated to work
Yes.
on diversity problems.
And you know what, Mr. Rod? Our schools, both our K through 12, our community colleges, and our public universities and private universities are getting more and more segregated. I can't blame it on people moving all out by themselves and leaving the rest of us in the inner city. No, it's just that a lot of people won't, even though it might live next door to you, their kids don't go to your school, and they don't they don't always go to your church neither. They got their own church that's unique to their ethnicity.
Also, Congressman Kanye said the percentage of schools where 75% of students are both low income and Hispanic or African American has increased from 9% in 2001 to 16% in 2014. The report also found that schools that were segregated offered fewer courses, get this, in science, technology,
true.
engineering, and math.
Keeping you back.
STEM program, related fields, and college preparatory classes. And you know what, Reverend Bush?
Dumbing you down,
that
Mr.
is
Rod.
not going
Dumbing
to
you down.
change.
Dumbing you down.
Segregation in public K through 12 schools isn't getting better. It's getting worse.
Worse.
And it's happening very, very quickly.
In urban America, y'all. And that's where we live. A lot of us. In fact, most of us.
And even Senator Bernie Sanders tweeted that there are 6,727 highly segregated schools in our nation where 1% or less of the school population is white. And that's Brown versus Board of Education. The NAACP Legal Defense Fund Director Cheryl Field said that the report shines light
Have
on
mercy,
worsening
Jesus.
education uh, in inequalities that cannot be divorced from the nation's legacy of racial discrimination that has perpetrated racial
Yes.
and socially economic isolation.
Mr. Rod, that's extreme racism and extreme segregation. That's the worst case of those two.
And we're gonna still keep talking about education, 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 because it affects me, it affects you. Even if you don't have children, attending schools um, in the system right now, it's still going to affect you
Well,
one way or other. Are they going to be prepared to go on
have
to higher
mercy.
education to take those positions in medicine, in education, in engineering, in business?
It's a way to destroy your race, my race, our race.
And you know, uh, another article which I saw in the Chronicle that I thought was very interesting. Will Michigan become another case of Brown versus the board? 62 years ago, there were those who asserted that the system of racial separation, masquerading as providing separate but equal treatment of both white and black in America, they said, but it never really happened. We're still separate in education and very, very, very unequal.
You know what, Mr. Rod? I was living in another country for whatever reason. I felt more free there than here. And I wonder why. It's the way people treat you, it's the way they systematically and institutionally do things to keep you down, keep
Well,
you from
especially,
succeeding.
if you're a very mobile person and you're trying to climb up the ladder of success and be a part of the American dream, there are very many
Have
obstacles,
mercy.
put in your way. And we just want to let people
You
know
know what?
that those obstacles are still there if you are a person
You
of
know what?
color.
I worked in an environment, and the one that succeeded was that super nigga, y'all. I'll use that term because it's a real term that is still real today, and that was in the 70s. It was in 75, and that super nigga was the one that went to the top. And unless they saw you as Superman, that's right. They had to look up and say, where he come from?
Well, making money, and
He's
they
super,
always
and they put the N at the end of super, y'all,
always
to
want to
distinguish that man from the rest of that group of men.
forcefully, build up hope, especially among young black men that I talk to,
Oh
in and
yes.
out of the schools. You ask them, well, what do you want to be? Every one of them will tell me they're gonna play basketball. That's their goal. And then I would say, and what else? Because your chances of getting into
Well,
to one of those leagues is like nil. What is your real goal?
they didn't want to be a George Washington Carver. They didn't want to be a Dr. Ben Carlson. Have mercy.
And as we keep saying, it has been determined in our country that separating public schools for black and white students along racial lines is still unconstitutional.
You know what, Mr. Rod? They didn't want to be a Dr. Tiffany Harrod. They did not want to be a Dr. Tamika Bush.
Well,
Amen.
I was thinking about when we start teaching our young people, our kids. Actually, when I was carrying Tiffany, I was attending college myself.
I
So,
hear you.
you can't start too soon. And
No, you
now
cannot.
she's a university professor. I do know my little
Yeah, look
grandson.
at your grandson,
He's
Francois
very
Harrod Jr.
very, very alert. He's what, 10 months old now, and he already knows the color of his milk, uh,
Hey,
uh, versus some other thing that you
hey,
trying to give him.
I understand. I have
So he knows white
a
rather
grandchild,
than water.
Amira Bush, my
Okay,
first and
very
only
alert.
grandchild. She punches things in color. Apple, apple.
Exactly.
You know.
So you
So
know you
she's not
can't
even 2 years old. She's in about what next month in June. Last June she'll be two. But
you
she's
can't
articulating very clearly the words.
you
She's
can't
speaking,
wait.
making
You
conversation
have to start teaching your
sentences.
children, be it in the womb, but to be sure when they're babies. You know,
You got to start early.
put the little baby Einstein uh, programs on for your babies. Let them learn colors. Let them learn shapes, and their alphabet and numbers if they can. It's really a catastrophe. You know what is happening here in our city of Detroit. Um,
Well,
with our school system.
it's happening in America, Mr. Rye. Uh, Detroit is not the only city that this kind of event is happening. It happens in Chicago. It happened in Washington, D.C. It even happens sometime in New York City, New York.
Around the country, and
It happens in New Orleans, Louisiana, near my
around
hometown.
the country, around the country, and of course, education isn't our only problem. Another serious problem we in Detroit are having is with these guns
Crime, Mr. Rod.
everywhere,
People are
everywhere.
killing one another. And then they're killing our young kids.
And I do mean babies and
And we
Chief
allowing it to happen. Shame on us.
Chief James Craig is right, to ask for massive community mobilization to end this wave of violence targeted at children.
Hey, we got our
That's
teach
crazy.
our young boys, young men who are acting like kids and acting like they don't have any sense. They're doing wrong. It's wrong to kill. There's a commandment, thou shalt not kill.
Exactly. And again, from one of the newspapers, I believe Chronicle, or News, or actually Detroit News, his article says Detroit children face a lead problem of a different kind. Too much
Have
of it
mercy.
is entering their
It,
bodies in
but
the
you got to
form of bullets fired by
have
adults
mercy,
who
Jesus.
seem to be intentionally targeting and often killing them. I mean,
That's the lead in the
it's
bullet, in the
crazy.
guns.
It's really
You
really
got lead in
crazy. Um,
that little tool called a pistol.
what people are doing, and even this week, or last week, little Mackenzie Odom was in a car, with her family and on the east side, and she was shot, unfortunately. And I did read that they were able to save some of her organs to be passed down as transplants. But who in the world wants their little beautiful baby, to be killed like that?
And their parts be given away. Their body parts be given away like you giving away vegetables or fruit or things to buy.
Children are getting paralyzed. A young girl was paralyzed, last year, or 10 years old, and now, she'll be in a wheelchair for a life. This is not, what education is all about,
No, it
Detroit.
isn't.
It really isn't. And I'm sure, some people can say, well, we can rationalize and say we're fighting back. That is not the way to fight back, to kill your own.
We need to teach our children, thou shalt not kill. Thou should love.
And many people hide the fact, they pretend they don't know who's doing this, but they need to speak up and tell, what young person in your home, has a gun or is out too late or stealing a car or vandalize. Uh, Families, you do know that. You have to chastise your child if they're not paying bills in that home, buying food, paying a mortgage or a rent. You have the right to raise that child.
You know what? We're going to wrap it up, Mr. Rod. We thank you for listening. We hope you See us next time.
Take care.
Every Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon.
Take care of
This
yourself.
is Making It Happen, Taking Action with
And
Miss
have
Barbara
a
Harrod
wonderful,
and Reverend A.W.
wonderful
Bush.
week.
We
God
love
bless.
you. God bless you.
Get educated.
Thank you for listening.